Talking F1 with Steve, Neil and the Gov.
Good evening. Welcome to Talking F1 with a weekly pit stop about the world of Formula One, what's going on in it, looking ahead to races, reviewing races. It's all good stuff. Welcoming everyone. Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. I'm not too bad, thank you. Good week.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting over this cold or whatever I picked up on my holiday.
Oof,
He's just left with a cough now, so we're all good. How about you?
Nice. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Working as per normal and enjoying the sun. It's been rather nice this past few days.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Don't do well with the heat. I don't do well with the heat.
No.
Nah.
I think you're either going to love it or you're not, really. And
Yeah.
I'm vice versa. I love it. Even though it does render me a sweaty mess. But there we go. Is what it is. Right. Well, you may have noticed, it's become a normality now. We have no Neil again. He may be speeding his way back from Kessingland. I don't know. Either way, if he's available later, he may pop in and join us. We're here, of course, until about 8 o'clock. So, discussing the few things going on in Formula One. Evening, Mike Baker. Welcome in. Hope you're well. Well, we didn't have a race last week. So there's a little 2-week break. Looking ahead to this weekend, which, of course, is Canada.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Always. I was just saying to mine, it normally throws up a good race.
It's one of those ones, isn't it? It's a classic. I think it's one of my favourites. It's an old school circuit. It's one I always enjoy, one I always look forward to. I think we've had many memorable moments there over the years. I think obviously Hamilton got his first win there. Kubica got his first win there. Ricciardo the same as well. Any particular sort of standout moments from Canadian Grand Prix past?
Button winning on the final lap when Vettel spun it in turn 1, was it, I think?
Something like that. Was that when Button had pitted about 75 times?
Yeah.
Penalties.
Yeah, I always remember literally Vettel just ditching it. No, I think it was down into the second chicane, actually. I think it was 10.
It was, yeah, that left and then the right.
Yeah. He just went on a bit of a damp patch and just went round. It was like all of us have done on like the F1 game or any karting track. It was
just run it a little bit wide. I think Vettel's going, use a flashback. Oh, I can't. But
very much. That one pretty much sticks in my memory of recent times. I think
that's one of the window 2 before the cat jumps out of it. I think that's one of the most memorable ones of recent years. I think one that sticks out for me, Robert Kubica's first win. I was a big fan of Kubica back in the day. He got BMW Sauber's first and only win, a 1-2 finish with Heidfeld after Hamilton ran into the back of Kimi Räikkönen in the pit lane.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a bizarre incident. It was so strange.
Was it Spa when Massa went down the pit lane with a fuel rig?
He did it in Singapore.
I'm sure. No, it was. I think it was someone else, but I can't remember who it was now. But with Kubica as well, I always remember him. Just that shot of him coming into the hairpin with his pretty much doing a wheelie and then just going into the barrier. And that was probably that time the biggest shunt I've seen live.
It was shocking. 2007. It was the year before, wasn't it? You thought how he can't be walking out of this, and he can't.
No,
he can't carry on. But that was incredible.
Cockpit left, and that was always sticks in mind. That was just a huge shunt. Caught them. I think he got lodged under the front wing, didn't he? And just sent him.
Yeah, concrete barriers.
The barrier where it breaks for the service road, doesn't it? So it sort of caught the end of that.
It was a hell of a crash, wasn't it? But
I'm looking forward to it.
There have certainly been some fantastic, closely fought Canadian Grand Prix as well. I can't help but get the feeling that this weekend's Canadian Grand Prix may not be as close as some previous ones we've seen.
Well, I was just literally looking at the weather forecast, and there's rain in the area. So if there is a God, please come, because it needs to rain. Because otherwise, Max Verstappen is going to win by half the track again.
Yeah, I think that's one of the talking points was, is anyone going to catch Red Bull? Namely, is anyone going to catch that Red Bull?
No.
It's okay. She has absolutely no personal space. Thank you for that. Is anyone going to catch that Red Bull? Hello, evening, Patrick Martin. Welcome in. Metal Jace. Yeah, rain forecast for the Canadian Grand Prix again. Well, it was that race when they, I think it was that 2011, wasn't it? They started to run out of daylight.
Yeah.
EJ Norris, hello, welcome in. Yeah, it's hopefully it's going to be a little bit closer. We've got teams that are going to be bringing upgrades. Whether Perez can get his head in the game, he goes well in Canada. You know, he's had podiums there in the past.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe Perez is starting to think that, you know, he's maybe not in the fight, so he can just race free again. I don't know if that's going to affect him mentally or not, but just want someone to give Verstappen a fight.
Yeah, I can't in the dry. I just can't see anybody getting him within even in qualifying 2-3 tenths. I can't see it.
No,
he somehow. I think this year's easier for him because he knows he can leave a margin out there and still be quicker than everybody.
That was it. Case in point in the Spanish Grand Prix, wasn't it? When they said, "Oh yeah, you don't need to go for fastest lap or anything. Don't risk it." And he said, "No, all right." And he went anyway, and he pushed it, and he got fastest lap because he still had something in his locker. Like, that car is such a rocket ship, and he's such an incredible driver. He had it in the locker.
I mean, Aston are bringing their first major upgrade, which Alonso's been barking on about.
Yeah.
No one else. I don't think anyone else is really bringing anything else with them. So
the only team I know for sure that's bringing in upgrades is Williams, but that's probably not going to affect too much the fight for the win.
No, I suspect it'll be of a clear weekend. It'll be Red Bull out in front, probably Alonso with the Mercedes.
Yeah.
You just don't know where the Ferrari stands now. It's gone so far backwards. It can only go forward, surely.
I know. It's, you know, they've gone from being surprisingly on pole position in Azerbaijan with Charles Leclerc, and then he was out in Q1, obviously with a problem anyway. A front row start for Carlos Sainz, and then they just went backwards. You know, Charles Leclerc couldn't make progress going forwards. Sainz dropped back. Where do they stand? You know, they've gone from, I think this time last year, Charles Leclerc had a good lead in the championship.
He was favourite for the championship.
Yeah, and everyone was saying, this is it. You know, Ferrari are back. Leclerc's got the car finally.
Hopefully they can remodel the Viper car they just won with at Le Mans and maybe package that up, because that looks a whole better car than that.
I was going to say, Ferrari fans have got a bit of joy. It's not quite what they were after, maybe, but yeah, the Le Mans 24-hour, it's no small feat. So,
brilliant race as well. I don't know if anybody watched it, but it was a fantastic race.
I caught parts of it. I dipped in and dipped out.
Yeah, last 10 years, Le Mans has been a bit of a procession with one team, really. But they've redone the hypercars. They've got manufacturers in, and it's just a better product now. It's actually really good racing, and they've got rid of the intermediate tyre, which caused severe issues on Saturday afternoon.
I saw lots of spins, lots of shunts.
Because obviously the track's 13 kilometres long. Half the track was literally bone dry, and half of it was underwater. And they were still trying to stay on slicks. It made for entertainment.
Yeah, there you go. No Red Bull dominance in the Le Mans. Comment, where did it go? Patrick Martin, more than upgrades. They need a miracle to catch the Red Bull. It is embarrassing. It is crazy, isn't it? I mean, I know we've seen dominance in the past, obviously recently Mercedes, but this Red Bull is just amazing. Every circuit it seems to be good on. You know, it's been great on street circuits. It's been great on the quick circuits.
Hasn't got a flaw at all.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't. Not even it's rapid down the straights. It's quick in the corners. High speed or low speed corners. Yeah,
because I know Mercedes had their tracks they weren't fantastic at. Singapore sticks out in my mind. They did struggle a little bit at Singapore, I think. But even they had their sort of Achilles heel and their weaknesses. But the Red Bull just seems to have none. It's reliable, it's fast, it's got downforce, it's got aero.
Part of me thinks that the Ferrari should just pitch out the last year's car and just start racing that again, because that I think was it his pole time in Spain was quicker last year than it was this year.
Wow.
And so I think Leclerc's pole time was quicker than Sainz's lap in Q3, I think, than this year. So that's how far back they've gone.
The Ferrari last year was fantastic but fragile, and this year it seems more reliable, but it's just slow.
I think one of the characteristics it had that twitchy back end, which caught Leclerc out and Sainz out. And I don't know whether they've tried to iron out and compromise the car. Because that can only be one of the flaws of the car was that they got caught out in like a gust of wind or whether the back end just snapped on them.
Yeah, was it France when Leclerc spun out of the lead?
Yeah, and I think Sainz was in Saudi Arabia, was that year? Or was it Mexico? But one of those. But no, I don't know if they're trying to iron that out to make it more of a stable rear in high speed, and then it's actually damaged their car a little bit.
But even Charles Leclerc did drop it in Miami, didn't he? Still, and went into the barriers in Miami.
Yeah.
There we go. Chase. Alex Albon have upgrades on his car. Yeah, we touched on that. Obviously, Williams bringing an upgrade. Hopefully, it's enough to nothing drastic, but just enough to make them more competitive in the midfield. Obviously, got further comment. Logan Sargent won't have the upgrades. Makes sense. Williams probably can only afford to bring one at a time. Give it to Albon.
Yeah. Sargent's record this season of keeping it on track isn't the greatest. So
no, it's been a shaky start for him.
Yeah, I think he's got inherent speed. I think you can sort of Sonoda it, where Sonoda was very shunt heavy, I suppose, in the first half of the year of his first year. Nowadays he's fine. So I think you give him a full season. He'll probably get 2 seasons actually. I think Sargent, because I think there's a lot of backing behind him, especially with 3 American races.
For sure.
He's going to be. I think he's going to get 2 years for sure. So.
I think so. And I reckon there is a decent little driver in there. It just obviously takes a bit of time, iron out creases and whatnot. But yeah, give the upgrade to Alex. Hopefully it is enough to get them at least, maybe not even in the points, but enough just to be up there and around there rather than just dropping back and not being able to make progress. I hope it's to the floor, because that was awful. It's like the surface of a table, how smooth it is. Thanks, Martin. Upgrades for Williams equals a new car. Yeah. Not quite.
Yeah, on tracks that don't take much turn of the steering wheel, they're pretty quick. It's just obviously shows the deficiencies in the floor and the downforce package. So
yeah,
they're obviously James Fowles is going to get them in the right direction.
Well, there was a report.
I would love to know what he thought when he first saw that floor.
Really, is this it? Where's the rest? Let me know when it's finished, lads. No, it is. This is we're done. He was saying that apparently he reckons some of the technology in the Williams factory is 20 years out of date.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, you can understand when it was the Williams era with obviously Frank and Claire. They were very much just trying to get through, weren't they, the season on as little as they had. So you can understand that. But since the American company come in,
Dalton,
Captico or whatever his name was, you'd have thought they would have started doing something, but obviously they haven't.
No, hopefully with the right man in charge now, they can actually build on it and move forward and update some technology. Ribeye almost ready. My barbecue's faster than Charles. Yeah, and I saw your previous comment there, Patrick, as well about the big lie from Ferrari being more competitive. Every year they say, we're competitive, we think we're going to be good. And last year it worked for the start of the season. This year, I don't know if Ferrari had high hopes. I had high hopes. Obviously, most Formula One fans probably did. We wanted to see some competition for Verstappen. And they got exposed. Yeah, they were not as quick as they made out to be. Even from testing, it was a disappointment.
The thing with Ferrari, that it's been this way. Probably since they won 2007's championship. They just don't develop a car through a season. So you've got this car now, and you're thinking, where are they get? The last 15 years they just haven't developed a car. They started with a good car, and I remember in the early 2010s, 11, 12s, Alonso was dragging that car through the season, the podium, 4th and 5th. Massa was still languishing back in 10th and 11th. So you're just thinking that where are they going with this car this season? They don't develop a car.
Yeah.
So how are they going to claw back a good part of a second now, really, is what they've probably lost.
The deficit is incredible, isn't it? You think the last chance they had to win a championship was probably Vettel, wasn't it, in 2018? And through a series of errors, that obviously never materialised, which is a shame. But yeah, like you say, Fernando was getting the best out of that car, especially when Red Bull were, again, the dominant team and had the edge. And McLaren are very good as well. But Felipe was never really there. He was sort of, lower reaches of the points. He got the odd podium. He was never the same after his crash, really.
No.
Which is a huge shame, because I was a big Felipe fan back in the day. Michael Baker, Lewis on the verge of putting pen to paper on a new deal with Mercedes. He's on record saying he's quietly confident on the car for next year. I think it's a matter of time, isn't it, really, until that contract is signed?
I think with Lewis, it's all about how much they're going to pay him or what deals he can do and how much media he doesn't have to do. I think he's at that age where he doesn't want to do much media. He just wants to turn up, race, go home.
Very much a Kimi Räikkönen. Turn up, do his job, off you go.
Which you can say he's earned the right to. Sells enough for Mercedes, doesn't it? So
I'm vaguely where I'm being watched again. Yeah, there we go. She's a Logan Sargent fan. So, and then a comment there: if you took Red Bull out, who's the best team? I genuinely don't know this year. It really does fluctuate.
It's very track dependent. I think it would. Last week would have, Mercedes were by far the best second team in the race, not at qualifying, but in the race. Whereas the first majority of the season has been Aston Martin but only Aston Martin with Alonso, not Aston Martin as a team.
Yeah.
So how much of that is Alonso dragging that car half a second more quicker than it is realistically?
Your tail. It's
I think Aston Martin and Mercedes are two.
I think so. I mean, it's like you say, it does fluctuate very much. I think Ferrari obviously are never in it really, but Mercedes were incredible last weekend. George has charged through the field. Hamilton was always there. Really good result for them. Aston had a bad result. Alonso has come out though. He's feeling very, very strong about this weekend. He said that in Canada we will crush them.
Doesn't expect to be off the podium for the rest of the year, does he?
He doesn't. This is the last race without a podium, he says. So he is very confident. Whether he knows something we don't know.
I hope it's true. I hope they found my best part of 3/4 of a second with this package. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got, because it's Fernando. He's obviously a very very strong character. He knows what to say. He knows how to say the right things to the media and talk things up. It's just incredible that he's been doing such a great job this year, but they're third in the championship because Mercedes, both of their drivers are consistent. Whereas Lance Stroll, granted, he had a good weekend in Spain. He out-qualified and out-raced Alonso. There is a spending cap, Martin. There is a cost cap. So you do have cost caps in Formula One. There is a cost cap, and basically the team who finishes higher or the highest in the championship gets the least amount of aero time. The team who finishes last, Williams, gets the most. And obviously Red Bull have got a bit, tongue-in-cheek, very good. Because it's not helping right now. All this extra wind tunnel time that Williams are getting. I know it's going to take time to settle in.
You could say that, but, positions 2 to 20 on the grid are competitive.
It's just that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that one. And obviously that car is by far the best in his hands, especially.
Yeah.
Also has been in his teammates on street circuits. Gat is out front today.
Yeah, she is on one this afternoon. Yeah, there we go. But I'm enjoying watching the midfield battles because it's really good, because you've got Alpine one weekend to be really competitive. Lando Norris did a great job in qualifying in Spain, not so much the race. But then you've got teams which sort of seem to be a bit of an anomaly, really. Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri seem to be
in
a place I can't put
last
them.
2 races since their Imola update. They've picked up. They're now. Well, I say out Mercedes, Ferrari, Alpine, and then now Alfa Tauri. I think they're battling for the 9th, 10th, 11th with your McLarens, and possibly Alfa Romeo if they can put a weekend together.
Bottas, good grief! Bottas seems to have gone missing.
That's just bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, considering how he's the Alfa Romeo is not the best car, but they started last season really strongly. And this season, well, I don't know whether his heart's not in it. I don't know.
It's fantastic for Zhou because, if someone's reviewing Zhou's performance, you just go, well, I've got a world championship winning driver next to me, as in he's been in the teams that won world championships, and I'm outperforming him here, there, and everywhere. So it's not me, it's the car.
Yeah. I just there are certain teams that the midfield is jam-packed and teams are fluctuating, which is brilliant to see, because one weekend you got Alfa Romeo, you got Alfa Tauri, Haas as well. They're a bit of an anomaly. Can't really place them. Williams, Albon's putting that Williams where it shouldn't be, really. I think Sargent is the more probably accurate representation of that Williams.
The thing with Sargent is you don't go into a qualifying expecting him to be 20th like Latifi always was, or when you have your Mazepins. If he popped out in the Q2, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's shown a little bit of speed, whereas like Latifi was just showing the wall most of the time.
That was a guarantee. That was a painful time for Williams.
Same with Mazepin, they were there purely because what cash they brought, rather than their pure talent. So Sargent will be all right, but the midfield is all parents. But one thing I think this new generation of driver is what the difference between Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso, and then you got Stroll, Russell, even Norris to a degree, and obviously Piastri is they always put their best work in on the Saturday. The new wave of drivers.
Yeah,
Stroll's a qualifier, really. Even like Ocon's a qualifier, Gasly's a qualifier there. Whereas you get Hamilton, if he's qualifies on his teammate, he's like, points are on Sunday. Alonso is quicker than him, but they can always drag the car forward on a Sunday. Russell probably is a bit of an outlier, I suppose, in Norris, but I always feel like the new generation of over one lap, they feel like that's their best quality, which they need a full 65 laps in a Grand Prix rather than one lap over.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's you get these incredible performances where you think, did he do that? I know Sargent has got into Q2, and you've seen these amazing laps from drivers. You think, how the hell? Like even when Albon put it in, that was Latifi put it in Q3 in Silverstone last year, I think. Yeah. That was amazing, and then went back. But I think he did score a point. Well, that might have been later in the season. Either way. But then they seem to go, backwards in the race. And it is a shame. It reminds me a bit of Jarno Trulli, He'd always put it in amazing places. The old Trulli train, put it in great places on the grid, and then no one could overtake him. So, well done, Trulli. He finished second. Yeah, but the leader was 50 seconds that way. It's just Trulli train. Can't overtake him.
That was
back in the day.
His only win was in Monaco, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, Monaco.
Which literally is the perfect place for him to get a win because there's no path in the Trulli train at Monaco.
There's a good comment here from Patrick, came through a few minutes ago. For the Ferrari, not just the car is not good, but as well as who developed the strategy, they look drunk, wrong tyres, wrong time for pit stop. Yeah, in Spain when Charles started on the softs and then came in and he wanted one set of tyres and the team said no. And then he said, yes, I want these tyres. And they put him on the wrong tyres anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were doing.
Has been a major issue the last 5 or 6 years, hasn't it?
It's been shocking.
They've changed personnel. I can't remember who they think, but they've changed it around. But the thing with Ferrari is it's very Italian where they change it in-house.
Yeah.
So you get the same mindset, just a different person.
They need to recruit from outside. I mean, Fred Vasseur, hopefully he'll be a good appointment in the long run. Hopefully he'll come good. Is it Laurent Mekies, one of their head honchos, one of their big guys, is off soon, isn't he? Or has he already left?
Yeah, he's leaving. They've obviously lost Aldo Costa a few years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, he's now at McLaren, isn't he, Costa?
Yeah. So they lost
Andrea Stella. Is it Andrea Stella who's gone to McLaren? I can't remember.
Andrea Stella. Yeah, Stella's the one that's gone to McLaren.
It seems to be that they need a Ross Brawn or a Jean Todt in there to really grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Because I don't think Fred Vasseur, he doesn't seem to be that kind of guy. We don't know, but he always seems very so laid back and so calm. A bit sort of like, we'll try again next time, Need someone to shake him up.
You could say that Sauber under him was a steady ship, but it didn't overperform at any point.
Yeah.
So you think, well, is he just is he a man manager, but doesn't really kick the team on to develop? Like McLaren have recruited, they're trying to recruit or have recruited a few Red Bull guys.
Yeah,
they're trying to actively improve who they've got in the factory.
The tricky thing is you've gone from Sauber, like you say, steady ship that wasn't really much expected of them. Fight for points. If you get points, great. If you don't, never mind. And you've gone into Ferrari, probably one of the most difficult teams to work for in Formula One, where there is the most expected from you. You've been in it since day one. You're the most decorated team in Formula One. You're the most famous team.
It's success, isn't it, that they require. And obviously, Vasseur's probably got this year as a freebie because it's not his car. He hasn't been involved with the car, so he's probably more sorting out the behind the scenes for next year than rather than leading the team this year in terms of development, etc. So be interesting how it plays out the next 12 months because they've got the way this season's going. If they don't turn up next season, that's pre-season testing with a car that's even relatively decent, Vasseurs out the door and back in the job centre, isn't
he? Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, he gets a freebie this year. You know, this was the last car with Mattia Binotto. Next year's a big one. If they can keep hold of Charles Leclerc, obviously I know he's contracted for next year anyway, and Carlos Sainz, if they can keep hold of the drivers, there could be a good future there. But
24 is a big season because you're getting to that point where another contract takes you to the rule change, really. Another 2-year contract takes you to the rule change. And someone like Leclerc will probably be thinking, are we definitely going to create a car for me that can win a world championship? Or can I go to an Aston Martin who's just built a whole new factory, has got a ton of money put into the project and be there for 2 years, like Hamilton did when Lauda went to him and said, look, in 2 years we'll have the fastest car on the grid.
Yeah.
It's going to be that point with Leclerc where, you know, come to us for 2 seasons and then when the new engine and the rule changes come, we've got this in the bag.
That's it. And I mean, drivers will say, you know, they love their team and they're loyal until a better offer comes along, you know, like Hamilton, McLaren. He was McLaren through and through.
Yeah.
And now look. I like this actually, Patrick. Good prediction for Canada. P3 Hamilton, P2 Verstappen, and a big surprise, a race win. Number 33 for Fernando Alonso.
I'd actually
get on board with that.
I don't want any injuries or anything, but I'd like the Wall of Champions to actually claim someone again. It's kind of turned into just a non-event that corner now.
It was a big one with like Hill, Villeneuve, Schumacher all hitting it. It was the same race, wasn't it? I think the same weekend.
But
Button's been in it. Vettel's been in it.
Yeah, but like the last 5 or 6 years, no one's touched it.
No, we need someone to thump it into the Wall of Champions.
Yeah.
If it is the number one Red Bull, then you know I like Verstappen, but it would make it more exciting. What about you then? So who are you picking for an early podium? Obviously, we don't know form yet, but who are you throwing your hat with?
Do you know what? I quite like the Alpine, what they've done with it.
Yeah.
And Esteban Ocon, he seems a bit like Jarno Trulli, where he'll put it in like P3 and qualifying, and he's just a bit of a pain to get round, especially if it rains. I think the Alpine might be quite quick in the rain. So I think Ocon on the Alpine for a podium possibly.
Good shout, yeah.
A little dark horse, real dark horse. But
a bit of money on that.
Because the Red Bull's reliability is rock solid, and by this point last year, everybody was taking engine penalties and MG UK penalties left, right, and centre, weren't they?
Yeah.
So I wondered if they're just for a bit of fun might just take an extra engine, say Spa or something, and because they know at Spa he can start lap, and by lap 10 he'll be leading.
Yeah. Sorry, she's just knocking stuff over the window.
I hope so, anyway, because I'm going. So.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Me and Neil Moles we're going to Spa. So.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, there you go.
I don't have Neil Moles, despite the fact he's been on here.
No, I'll be all on my lonesome while you two enjoy Spa. Oh, yes. Brilliant. No, I think I like the Ocon shout. I'm going to go with at least the top 2 for Fernando. You know what? I'm going to agree with Patrick. I'm going to say first place for Fernando. She's not a fan of that choice, apparently.
Let's hope.
I'm going to say P1 for Fernando, P2 for Charles Leclerc, and P3 for Perez. I'm going to predict Verstappen in the Wall of Champions.
As long as he gets that, walks away, absolutely fine. I'm all for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Just look at it, or maybe loses the back end, breaks suspension or something, and has to pull over. Nothing drastic. Yeah. Just a race ender, or just a reliability issue. And the top 3, where Perez can finally get his head together.
I feel like Perez, if he doesn't have a good Saturday, Sunday just goes to pot.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Obviously, Monaco. Well, Monaco's a bit of a different situation, but Spain again.
Yeah,
and didn't make any progress. Really, you can't help but get the feeling if Verstappen had been in that position, he'd have won that race, or been at least on the podium. You know, at least we've seen him come from so far.
Wherever Verstappen starts, you expect him to be on the front. Top 2.
Yeah.
Even halfway through the race, it's not even all last lap. He might get someone.
No. He just turns the AI down to 0 and away he goes.
Exactly.
F1 is his playground now.
It literally is.
I think that just about wraps it up for this week. So we are not doing a show next week. I'll give you all the heads up now. Martin is away, so we should hopefully be back the week after. Obviously, we've got Canada, and then I think, is there a race the following week straight away?
Maybe. There's 3 in July, I think, isn't there? Or
yeah,
they go out to Austria, then Silverstone, and then Spa. So I've got it here, actually. I've got it here.
Okay.
What are we? 17th this weekend. No, it's 2 weeks, and then it's Austria.
Okay.
Then Silverstone, and then a 2-week gap, and another week gap to Spa, I think. Yeah. We got.
Technical difficulties. Hang on. Ah!
Oh.
I can't get Steve back.
Steve gone, is he?
Hello?
Hello.
Can anybody hear me? Smile if you can hear me. There we go. You can hear me. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Hello. I am the support system that can't support anybody because my phone won't work. Shocking. I'm so sorry. Right. Let me end this conversation. Here we go. Right. That was talking Formula One. That man there is on his second appearance and he's already experiencing the Basel 40 Towers approach to life. Right.
That's his change.
I'm going to press this button and that won't do anything. So, Chris, just leave the studio and have a thoroughly enjoyable evening.
There we go. Yeah, Metal Jace, you're pretty much right there. She stood on the keyboard and pressed something. I'm so sorry. She is banned from all future broadcasts. There we go.
Absolutely zero idea. They see if only the races were as exciting as this.
I know.
You'd all be tuning in your millions, right?
Stay put in the wall of champions.
Oh,
I did.
Dear
Cat
me.
did not like the Alonso P1 prediction. Right, there we go. So anyway, yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Sorry about the feline interruption. So as I say, we're not back next week, but we are back the week after. So thank you very much for joining us. We shall see you in a couple of weeks. Enjoy the race, enjoy Canada. Enjoy
Can't actually hear a single word you're saying, Steve, but I can see you there, mate.
He's chatting away. I'm just going to carry on talking. If I say goodbye and then start waving, do you think you'll get the idea to turn the show off? I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, good prediction there from Metal Jace as well. Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton. We haven't seen a Red Bull 1-2 this year, so that would be really good actually to see a Red Bull 1-2.
All right, to be fair, bone dry race. That's pretty much what I think it will happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen, isn't it? I'm going for rain. I'm going for chaos.
Oh,
Absolute chaos. I hope. Anyway, yeah, I think it just about wraps it up. So, you okay there, Martin?
I am very well. Yes, I'm glad you're back. Good.
There we go. Yeah, sorry about that.
Because that was 40 Towers for a minute.
That was proper 40 Towers. Tell you what, this ain't the BBC, is it? Right, there we go.
Chris, he's just arrived, look. He's just arrived.
It's just left on its own. I'm so sorry.
I don't know what happened, to be fair. I don't know what happens.
So my webcam absolutely just crashed itself a few weeks ago. Neil was just there with a blank look on his face.
That's Neil anytime.
Right, thank you very much for watching, everybody. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Enjoy the sun, enjoy your weeks. Thank you very much for Chris. Thank you, Martin, for twiddling knobs and doing stuff behind the scenes. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
No.